Brandon, Alan Cockrell with ABC, hitting coordinator for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm going to run through your video today and point out some things that I think are important for hitters of all ages. I'm just looking at your setup position. I'm looking at your load, and I really like your athletic setup. I like your little miniature leg kick. I think that provides good rhythm. We just want to make sure that in the load that, you know, if you have a leg kick or whatever it is that you do in your load, that it starts early and we can maintain some rhythm, yet keep it slow and soft. When we set that foot down, we want to set it down nice and soft. We don't want to jar the head and move the eyes around a lot so we don't get a real good look at the ball. But when I look at your setup position, you know, the one thing that I want to caution you on is it looks as though your feet are a little bit closed off, okay, this direction, and we just want to make sure that we don't get too closed off, because if we do close off a lot, that's going to close off this front shoulder, it's going to close off this front hip, and the hands have a tendency to get hidden behind the body. We want to make sure that there's a path in this area right here for our hands to be able to freely work forward in front of our body, out here in front to contact. And if the hands happen to get too far behind the body, then they have to work out and around, or we have to cut our swing off, and we don't get the full extension through the ball that we could get. So just be careful that you don't close off too much and not leave room for the hands to work in front of the body out to contact. Okay, we'll go into the load. When we get to the loaded position and the foot lands, there's basically a position here that I'm looking for with all my hitters. I want a bend in both knees. Okay, I want the knees inside the feet, inside here, and this is basically a good balanced position. I want the hips squared up, which yours are, the shoulders squared up. We want to have the hands shoulder height. Your hands might be a tick low. There is good separation. Your hands are behind your back knee, and we want this head sitting in a good attacking position right over the belt buckle. Everything looks good right there, Brandon. The one suggestion that I might make to you at this particular point is we can get that set, not necessarily the stride, but keep the stride and the load, keep it the same way that it is. But maybe we start in just a little wider position with our feet so that we have a very good, strong base or foundation from our lower half, so that we can get good lower half drive and then get the hands to connect and work through the ball. Okay? And I'll show you what I'm talking about right here. As we get into the swing, all right, we get a good lower half knee drive, all right? You're driving that knee, and you're transferring weight in here. You're good and athletic there with that front knee. This knee's inside this foot. That all looks good. But and also when the knee drives, the elbow drops underneath the hands. You're down into the slot. You're connected right here. Your hands and your elbow and your back hip are all in alignment. That all looks good. And then we start to work forward, and rather than get full extension, I see that we got just a little bit of this in those elbows, and the barrel's out here, but it's almost like we're pulling our hands across our body. That could be from a couple different things. We'll watch the finish here and see how you finish around your body, and then start to really start to come upright just a little bit. That could be a couple things that cause that. When we look at your setup position and then your stride, it could be that we're slightly closed off with this front foot. Okay, that this foot and back foot is closed off a little bit too much. Hands are hidden behind the body. Could also be that we just need a little wider base. Keeping the stride the same length, but just in your setup position, get yourself into a wider base so you can have a better foundation to transfer that weight. And in the end, when we get to this position of contact, that we can get full extension and have the arms more fully into this position and the barrel of that bat there, and that's going to allow for us to fully finish our swing as opposed to pulling our hands across. Okay, so that would be one thing that if I were you, I would just kind of dabble around with you know, a different width of your stance, maybe a little wider width. Keep your load the same way it is. Everything that you're doing is working very well. We're just not getting the full extension with our hands in the barrel of the bat that we could possibly get. And really, honestly, I just think that it's the width of your base that doesn't support your body to stay under balance and be able to fully extend this barrel of the bat through the baseball. As we watch this here, you can kind of see at the end we kind of fall off balance just a little bit right here, and we'll run it forward, and the body is torquing, and the base just kind of causes us to kind of fall off back to the backside just a little bit. So that would be, honestly, that would be my suggestion with you. I don't see anything really major that we need to try to attack and have you make an adjustment with. But I think, you know, with your particular height, your base could be wider and just support your frame just a little bit more athletically. It's just going to allow for the finish. You know, we can see at the finish, and it's more with this front foot right here. It just starts to fall back and spin open, and the weight is not fully staying through contact like it could. So my suggestion is, in your setup position, all right, instead of being here, let's have that setup position be more here. Okay, so now as we go forward and we set that foot down, all right, where your foot sets down, we'd like to see that foot down set down somewhere out in this area. It would be the same length of stride. It's just in your setup position, you're a little bit wider. You keep the good athletic bend in the knees, and when you set it down, you know, we're in a position to where now the bend stays in the knees, but I can get more drive into that front leg, and I'm in a better base to be able to support that backside driving into the front side, and we kind of get on the heel a little bit at the finish here, and just kind of see how we just kind of spin open just a little bit, and that brings the hands across the body. So really, Brandon, I think your swing is solid. I think we just need to get you a little better base to support your body, get better extension through the baseball. Keep doing what you're doing. Swing looks very, very good. Let's just widen out just a little bit and see if that doesn't support our balance a little bit better. All right, bud. Thanks for coming to our camp. Best of luck.